What's going on, everyone? How you doing? Ron here with Ronnie's Rundown. So in today's video, we got a lot of great news with Elon. We're going to be talking about Elon, Bill Gates, him calling him a liar. We're going to be talking about U.S. aid, as well as some of the accusations with the Epstein files. So let's roll this first clip. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave your comments. I try and respond to all of them. It's kind of interesting. I'm trying to play both sides, but so far I'm liking what Elon does in terms of government waste and spending, but not, like I mentioned in my other videos, to a certain extent. But let's roll this first clip.
Known Epstein clients, who are obviously extremely powerful, powerful politically and very wealthy, are Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and Reid Hoffman, and some others too, but those three. So, why was Reid Hoffman so intent on destroying Trump?
Do you think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm like, this is, yeah. So
it's so frustrating to be sitting in a situation where the list isn't coming out.
Well, it better come out. Hopefully tomorrow.
Well, I mean, why'd they release bullshit today?
I don't know.
What's the point in giving these people like a happy folder to wave around in front of the camera with nothing in it that's new? It doesn't make any sense. It's not encouraging.
Like I said, it's the tough thing that they've got is, they've been made captain of a ship with a hostile crew.
Right.
So they don't have it's not like you have like magical powers. You get made captain of a ship with a hostile crew. You still have a hostile crew.
Right.
You've got to bring in people who are gonna, be helpful as opposed to obstructionist.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think the public will be rightly frustrated if no one is prosecuted for the Epstein client list, no one at all, which, no one, is, like at least, I don't know, the top 5 or something, like some number. There should at least be an attempted prosecution of the worst offenders.
We just saw that clip, and it talks about, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. Elon Musk saying, the top 5 richest people in the world. They don't want this list to come out. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, etc. And when you research the internet, you just see so much fluff out there. You don't know what to trust. So I'm not saying that Bill Gates was there, or assuming, or anything like that. But you look at this news article from Reuters, and it just says false claim: Bill Gates traveled to Epstein's island multiple times. So, I think Elon's just speaking his mind on the podcast, on Joe Rogan's podcast, and who knows if it's true or not. But anyways, it seems like there's a lot of tension in between him. Let's get into the next video about Bill Gates and his foundation, USAID. And you can see some of the turmoil on this clip where Elon responds on X, on Twitter.
Now with these cuts, if they're not reversed, we'll go to over 6 million dying. So instead of going down, will go back up.
Wow. So it's a difference of 2 million lives.
Absolutely. Now with these cuts, if they're not reversed, we'll go to over 6 million dying. So instead of going down, we'll go back up.
Wow. So it's a difference of 2 million lives.
Absolutely.
And here, right after watching this video, you could see Elon's new name, Gorkon Rust. Gorklan Rust, sorry I pronounced that wrong, but you could see Gorklan Rust, Elon Musk, responds, Gates is a huge liar. So anyways, it continues with this next one. So, and this is a post from Liz Churchill. She says, this is winning. U.S. aid has officially closed. Bill Gates can no longer use taxpayers' money to commit biological war crimes. And then it gets into the video. Let me just play this video right now.
Elon, his private sector work, has been very innovative, really fantastic. A lot of private sector people, when they get into government, they don't take the time necessarily to see what the good work is or why it's structured the way it is. So I'm a little worried, particularly with this USAID stuff. My foundation partners with USAID on nutrition and getting vaccines out. And, there's incredible people. They're not actually worms that work there.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we'll get some of that work back in shape. In fact, if we don't, you could have literally millions of deaths. So,
Yeah.
With aid, people think, wow, how much do we give to these countries? As you said, it's less than 1%. People think it's 5%, and it should be 2%, but it's actually under 1%.
Anyways, interesting video there. I like Bill Gates in terms of his foundation of what he's doing. I see both sides. Elon Musk, okay, let's cut spending. Trump administration, let's cut useless, wasteful spending. But at the same time, I think my take on it is I think we need something in place of USAID. I know that there's the WHO organization or foundation where they kind of looked at viruses that would spread across the world and help deter that, help viruses spreading, cross borders, people coming from different countries into, parts of Canada, parts of the USA where it becomes a pandemic. They stop that. They find early viruses like that and notify the public through media, etc. And that all does cost money. But I do see, Elon and Trump's administration in terms of cutting out wasteful spending. But who knows how this is going to play out in the future? Are they going to build something in replacement of US aid, or are they going to continue with the WHO Foundation? I think they cut their spending. But anyways, time will tell. It'll be interesting. Let's get into this last piece of news here. Elon Musk's Starlink product. So it's a huge win for Elon, and Elon retweeted this. So Starlink launches on United Airline planes by May 15th. So it's a huge win. I like the Tesla products. I don't own a Tesla, like I mentioned. I do like what Elon is building with robot taxis, the Tesla robot, etc. I just think he's a brilliant man, his innovation. I think, obviously there's no doubt that he's a smart individual. So anyways, great news for Tesla, great news for Starlink. I keep seeing more and more people using the Starlink product. It's amazing. I think I use it on every cruise that I go to. So any cruise, whether it's Royal Caribbean or Carnival or Celebrity Cruises, I think that's the sister company of Royal Caribbean. The first thing I do before I actually book a cruise, I asked if they actually have Starlink, because I'm able to do all of my VoIP calls because I like to stay connected for my business. I always ask if they have Starlink and I could upgrade my package. I know it's costly. I think it's like maybe $350 for the week, but it's worth it because it allows me to make those emergency calls if I'm on the cruise and I need to make a VoIP or a voice over IP call. I can. So in response, Bill Gates mentioned this as well. He says, "We have an opportunity to save more lives around the world than ever before, and I wanted to do more to help. That's why I'm giving away virtually all of my wealth through the Gates Foundation over the next 20 years. Okay, so a lot of people are replying saying, what a hoax, etc. He's giving money to his own foundation. I think a lot of people would like to see I'm giving my wealth to different organizations, not to just his organization. So I think it'd be more real if Bill Gates were to distribute a lot of his wealth or a portion of his wealth and maybe make it even more transparent. This is why I like blockchain, because blockchain, everything is tracked. There's transparency involved in blockchain. Every little transaction that you do, you could see it actually on chain. Whether you're using Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, everything is trackable, and I'd kind of like to see that, right? Because, in the future you could play he said, she said, I sent 20 million to this foundation, but did you really? And where did the money go? And this is why Doge is there for wasteful spending, because you could give $20 million to a foundation, but how did they use the $20 million, right? So anyways, this is the last piece of news. I'm just going to play this clip. Doge is here to stay. So this is JD Vance just talking about how Elon did a great job in terms of helping government spending and saving about 160 billion. So let's play this clip.
But on Elon, look, Elon's not disappearing. And you talked about $160 billion in savings. First of all, that's a lot. And second of all, nobody said that the work of Doge would only last 110 days and that would be it. We think that there are a lot of fraudulent people claiming Medicaid or Medicare benefits, meaning illegal aliens, people who have no entitlement legally to be on those programs and are stealing from the American citizens who actually do deserve those programs. So we think there's a lot more waste and fraud that we can find. We think we're going to save the American people a lot more money. But look, if we stopped at $160 billion of pure waste and fraud, that would be an unbelievable increase in government efficiency. That's something to be proud of, but we're going to keep on working at it.
Anyways, that's it for the Elon news for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.